No matter how much they'd like it to vanish, the Nord Stream pipeline story just isn't going away. Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh dropped the biggest story of the year last week. Hersh documented in detail bombshell claims by inside sources that the US blew up the Nord Stream pipelines as part of a covert operation. According to Hersh's sources, the explosives were planted in June 2022 by US Navy divers under the guise of the Baltops 22 NATO exercise and were detonated 3 months later with a remote signal sent by a sonar buoy. The attack was intended to make Germany more dependent on American energy and ramp up the military escalation in Ukraine. Now Hersh is promising to reveal further information about the plot. There may be more to learn about Joe Biden's decision to prevent the German government from having second thoughts about the lack of cheap gas this winter, Hersh wrote on Substack. Stay tuned, he said, we are only on first base. The journalist also pointed out how, similar to what they're doing now, the legacy media once ignored his expose on the My Line. Didn't mean it wasn't true. In a new interview with The Wire, Hersh says, quote, "It scares me if the president was willing to do this." And the people who did this mission believed that the president did realize what he was doing to the people of Germany, that he was punishing them for a war that wasn't going well. And in the long run, this is going to be very detrimental, not only to his reputation as the president, but politically too. It's going to be a stigma for America. Now, China is also calling for a full and frank international investigation. It's imperative to conduct an objective, impartial, and professional investigation into this incident with explosions and bring those responsible to justice, said Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin. Russia has also called a session of the UN Security Council next week, again demanding a massive international investigation. Washington still obviously strenuously denies the claims, while trying to frame the narrative that the story didn't even come from Hersh, but from within the bowels of the Kremlin.
What we have heard from Moscow, what we've heard from the Kremlin, is nothing but a lie. It is pure disinformation that the United States was behind what transpired with Nord Stream 2.
Yeah, seems that whole UFO flap, which Edward Snowden said was deliberately engineered to distract from the Nord Stream story, hasn't had its intended effect. But then again, does the media really even need to distract from a story that they barely bothered to cover in the first place?